Hey, welcome back to Math Quest. Hey, listen, today I want to show you how to factor quadratics using generic squares. All right, or generic rectangles really is what should be called. So actually, let me change this right here because this should be called generic rectangles. There you go, generic rectangles. So, hey, let's get to it. Let's jump to it. I want you to take notes. Get your notebook out, get your pencil, and pause it at any time if you feel that I'm going too fast, because I'm not going to slow down. All right, here we go. So we got our first quadratic. We got 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. And I want to factor this. Now, pay attention here. I said we're going to do it using generic rectangles. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a generic rectangle, right? Generic rectangle just means that it's not drawn to size. Like each square that's here in the box, they're not drawn to size just because one number inside is bigger than the other. It doesn't matter. So it's just generic. Here we go. When you're starting this out, this is what you need to focus on. This number right here, or actually the whole term, 2x squared, that one goes in there. Okay, so we're going to have 2x squared in there. This term here goes in here, 3. All right, so I got half of it filled up. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is not focus on the other 2 empty squares. What I'm going to do is focus on the product of the area. Because if you think about this, length times width equals area, right? So it gives me the surface area of this whole thing. What ends up being inside is the sum of the area, which is this. This is the sum of the area. Out here will be the product of the area. So now I'm going to find the product of the area. Now, I know that if I multiply 2 times, 2x times x, 2x times x gives me 2x squared. So I know those two values out there must be right because they give me the answer right here in this box. The question is, how do I get this 3? No, notice it's up here. I'm going to put a number up here because this length is the same as this, right? So this number times the number that I put down here should equal 3. Well, 3 is a prime number, so it's pretty easy to understand that 3 times 1 equals 3. And that is true. 3 times 1 equals 3. All right. It looks like I have the values, right? Now let's try to see if I can fill that in. So that would be 2x times x is 2x squared. Therefore, 3 times x should give me 3x. We'll write that here, 3x. And then 3 times 1 already gave me 3. So the bottom right here, which is the same length as this one, 2x times 1 is simply 2x. Now, how can I verify if this is correct? Well, look at these right here. This 3x plus 2x gives me 5x. Well, look at my middle term here, 5x. Yes, that's where it is. This 3 here, we know it came, or this 3 here came from there. And then this 2x squared came from there. All my values make sense because I know exactly where they came from. So what is this product of the area? Well, these right here, 2x and a 3, that's a positive 3, and x plus 1. So therefore, 2x plus 3 times x plus 1. It's that easy. That's it. We're done. Now we're done because I said this is part 1. All right. In part 2, I'm going to take it from here and move on to solve for the value of x. Okay. So right now we are done. We're not going to factor it all the way. This is where we're done factoring to begin simplifying. So anyway, did you understand it? I hope you did. Now let's move on to the next one. You can see it here at the bottom. This one here, 3m squared plus m minus 14. Go ahead and pause the video. Do the same thing you just did right now. You should have it in the notes in front of you and see if you're able to do it using a generic rectangle. And then play the video to see what the answer is. All right. So I'm assuming you paused it And here we go again. All right, you're back to see if you got the answer right. So 3m squared and my negative 14. Remember that minus sign belongs to the 14, making it here negative 14. And we got that value in here. Great. Now, my first question, how do I get my 3m? Well, or 3m squared. Well, simple. 3m times m. 3m times m gives me 3m squared. And then 14. Well, 14, 7 times 2. Well, 7 times 2 gives me 14, but I need it to be negative 14. All right, if I need it to be negative 14, I'm just going to make the 2 here negative. Now, could I have made the 7 negative? I could have, and then hopefully that worked out. And if it doesn't work out with my values here, then I can change it to the other one. For instance, right now I'm going to continue to multiply, and that is 3m times negative 2 is going to give me a negative 6m. And then 7 times m gives me 7m. Notice here, to answer the question I just asked a minute ago, could I have made the 7 negative instead of the 2 negative? Well, it looks like the answer is no. If I would have made the 7 negative right here, because I have to combine like terms, the 7m and the minus 6m, that would have gave me a negative m. And as you can see, this is a positive m. So therefore, the 2 had to be negative. That's how you can test which one should be positive or negative. At this point, let's go ahead and write the product of the area. 3m plus 7 times m minus 2. And there we go. It's that simple. The crowd loves it. I'm not going nuts. There's a real crowd. Anyway, last one. What? There's only 2 terms. Mr. Medina, what do we do? All right, the first thing you need to do is start crying. No, stop it. You're going to follow the same rules, all right? Create your generic rectangle, and I like the orange, so we're going to create an orange. So we'll do it up here. Sound effects and everything. Oh, and you have to do the sound effects, otherwise you're not going to get it right, okay? So, now, we got our generic rectangle. Please, pause the video. Try the same steps we just did a minute ago and see if it works out for you. And then play it and see if you got it right. So, I'm assuming you're back. So let's go to it. Now notice here, I have my 9x squared, which we know goes in here. So let's just go ahead and put it in there. Different color. How about that? 9x squared. We have this term right here, my minus 4. Well, that's my constant, and I know that that one goes here. I don't have a middle number, right? But that's okay. I'm just going to keep following the same process. So what 2 numbers will give me 9? Well, I know that 9 times 1 gives me 9. And I know that 3 times 3 gives me 9. Listen carefully. You need to choose a 3 times 3 because we're factoring, right? Remember that factors are the numbers that multiply to give you the overall number. Just like when you used to do factor trees, right? You simplify it all the way down. So here, we're going to use, let's use a different color. I feel colorful. 3x times 3x. All right. So 3x times 3x gives me 9x squared. That is true. So how can I get a negative 4? Well, I know that if I multiply 4 times 1 or 2 times 2, I get 4. Now, one of them has to be negative. Again, which one? Well, we'll figure it out. For now, I'm just going to make that one negative again. So, right now, what do I have? Well, let's see what our area is. Right here, we have 3x plus 2, right? I got that from here. And then on the other one, I have 3x minus 2. That's what I have. Now, I don't know if it's going to work. Well, can I fill these in? Well, let's see. 3x times negative 2 will give me a negative 6x. And then 2, this 2 right here, times 3x is going to give me a 6x. All right? Now, here's the question. If I add these two up, will they equal my middle number? Well, my middle number here, remember, we have 9x squared. They skipped the middle number, and then they did minus 4. So my middle number, since I have nothing, the middle number is 0. So therefore, is 6x minus 6x 0? Yes, they cancel each other out. It is 0, giving me my original answer there. So that means that this one is right. So is this negative 2 correct? Yes. And in this case, it doesn't matter which one would have been negative, right? Either one would have been right. All right. Hey, I hope you got a basic understanding of how to start factoring quadratics using generic rectangles. Watch out for part 2, where I show you how to take it all the way. All right. Hey, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time on Math Quiz. Goodbye.